also remind us of those things we have forgotten. That is the work of the Spirit. It says, when the Spirit will come, He will guide us into all truth and teach us even of those things that we have forgotten, including the new things we do not know. He will impart on us. So tonight, we want to continue with Ezekiel. We want to continue with Ezekiel. Let us go to Ezekiel chapter 4. Because that was where we stopped last week. Last week we talked about the siege. He said, prepare something like a placard or a slate, and in it do a artistic design of a place that is under siege. And he did that. After doing that, he asked him again to lie. Just a minute, let me get the New Living Translation. After that, he asked him to lie in a prone way or a prone form. Prone. Lying by your side, either right side or left side, and depicting number of days, which will be accounted for years. 390 for Israel, the 10 tribes, and how many? How many for Judah? 40 days for Judah. So here we have 390 for Israel. This is 390 years for Israel, and 40 days, translated to 40 years for Judah. And within that period, Yahweh will wait for them to have a rethink of their deeds, their evil deeds. If they are not able to do anything to renounce their sin, to confess their sin, to repent from their sin and return to Yahweh, then Yahweh will know that they have passed they've crossed the red line, and he will deal with them. So another act, he called all these acts, Act 1, Act 2, then Act 3 here, he asked him, there is this defilement of bread. Defile bread. And in that, he was asked to prepare food. And he told him to get them together, mix them up, barley, different sorts of food. And at the end of the day, he will eat in measure and drink water in measure. What was that telling us? There will be austerity. There will be lack. There will be, at the end of the day, there will be famine in the land. To the point that this Act 3, which is the filing of bread, lack of bread, famine of bread, that is food in the land and water, the people will eat their children and their children will eat them. That was as bad as that direction or the vision that was laid will result. Then Act 4 He said to him, shave head, shave prophet. Now he's got to shave his head. Remarkably, that is complete erasing. That means sword is going to come. Shave. Sword is going to come. War is going to come. Enemy will enter into the land. So this is where we stopped last week. So we have to enter Ezekiel 5. We are treating Ezekiel 5 now, which is just the shaving of the head or the body or whatever that the hair that will be removed. And let us see how Yahweh explained it. Son of man, take a sharp sword and use it as a razor to shave your head and beard. Use a scale to weigh the hair into 3 equal parts. Place a third of it at the center of your map of Jerusalem. After acting out the siege, burn it there. Scatter another third across your map and chop it with a sword. Scatter the last third to the wind, for I will scatter my people with the sword. Keep just a bit of the hair and tie it up in your robe. Then take some of these hairs out and throw them into the fire, burning them up. A fire will then spread from this remnant and destroy all of Israel. Yahweh wants to do away with Israel totally from the land, whether the tribe of Judah or tribe of Israel. And Israel, we knew, or we are told, Israel was scattered many years before Judah was removed. Now, the shaving of the head and the beard of the prophet, the implication or the interpretation, let us see it in verse 5. This is what the sovereign Yahweh says. This is an illustration of what will happen to Jerusalem. I placed her at the center of the nations, but she has rebelled against my regulations and decrees and has been even more wicked than the surrounding nations. She has refused to obey the regulations and decrees I gave her to follow. This is what we're saying here. Yahweh is saying, you Israel, particularly Judah, I appointed you to be the head and the center of the universe. I appointed you to be the capital of the world. We are surrounded with nations, Gentile world, that do not know him. But instead of you following the rules and regulations, the laws, the decrees, the ordinances, the commandments of Yahweh, you followed your own mindset. You became worse, even more than the nations surrounding you. You became worse. You served idol, even greater than the idols of the nations out there. And you showed yourself that you are so rebellious against the word of Yahweh. Therefore, verse 7 said, therefore, this is what the sovereign Yahweh says. You people have behaved worse than your neighbors and have refused to obey my decrees, laws, and regulations, rules, commandments. You have not even lived up to the standard of the nations around you. Have you heard that? They didn't even live. That means the nations of the world, the Gentile world, were better than them. Judah sinned to the point. Israel sinned to the point where Yahweh compared them with the nations surrounding them. And Yahweh says, they were better. You are better. So rebellious. In Jeremiah, Yahweh made a statement in the book of Jeremiah. Let's look at the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 2. Because even the Gentile world knows their idol they follow. They cannot deviate from it. They cannot forsake it. But his people forsook him. Look at this statement. And that will tie with what he's saying here. Go to Jeremiah chapter 2. I take it from verse 11. 11. Has a nation changed their mighty ones, their gods, their El, which are yet no mighty ones, which are nothing, as far as Yahweh is concerned. These nations Yahweh is talking about that surround Jerusalem, that surround Judah, that surround the people of Yahweh, they are nothing. Yet, these nations tie themselves to their idols. They don't shake. They don't shake. They don't move. Which are yet no mighty ones. But my people have changed their glory for that which does not profit. Glory is name, the name of Yahweh. They have changed the name of Yahweh for what does not profit. Exactly. Therefore he told them, be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, says Yahweh. For my people have committed how many sins? 2 evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters. They have forsaken Yahweh. Where is his name? They've thrown it away. And hew them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. In fact, they removed Yahweh from their midst and founded what Yahweh called a breakable cistern that cannot hold water. It's like digging a well, and they say that well, whatever that it contains, is what, will be their fate. And that well cannot hold water for a moment. Pour water, fill it, it dries away. So where is the fate? So Yahweh told them clearly that the nations around them could do better to their idols. But Israel have forsaken the name of Yahweh, the glory of Yahweh, the one and only one that created them and put them in that land. So they're going to pay the price. Let us hear him. Because of your detestable idols, and I will punish you like I have never punished anyone before or ever will again. Did you hear that? Because of what they did, forsaking Yahweh, following idol, so terrible, they even manufactured. That means if the Gentile world, they didn't even follow the Gentile world, the idol of the Gentile world. Maybe they acquired them, but they upgraded them. That made them far, worse than anybody can think about. That is why Yahweh compared them or said that their behavior is never seen anywhere. Parents will eat their own children. Have you heard it? Parents will eat their... When the land is under siege, now, there will be no food coming in. When the land is under siege, productivity will completely go down. When the land is under siege, the water in the land will have problem as well. Life, the whole life system will go down. And to get to the point whereby they will lack benefits of life. You get to the point where famine will struck them. Famine, he will use famine. Then he will cause war to happen before the gates of their nation. The enemy will come and fight them, and the young men will all go out, and they will all be killed. able men and women who are working, people who are at, who have the strength to do the work, to produce, to be productive in the land. They will all be gone. So when they are diminished, nobody will work for them to produce food. And whatever, because he will hit them with famine. There will be drought. Their waters will dry. So there will be trouble in the land. Food will go. They will look for food. They can't go outside because there is war outside. They can't farm because the land cannot produce again. Because you have sinned against your Creator. Land will say, because you have sinned, I produce nothing. I get authority from my Creator. I obey my Creator. You can't farm. Even if you farm, nothing. Land will say, I'll be silent. Because of your detestable idols. So the cause of their problem, be noting this. The cause of the problem is idol. They were in love with idol. Not just idol, idols. In love with idols. That's why Yahweh will punish them. As a result, parents will eat their own children, and children will eat their parents. I will punish you and scatter to the winds, and few who survive. Remember, in verse 5 and verses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to that point, up to 4, he talked about shaving his hair. Now, that shaving his hair, assuming this is his hair, he will shave it into 3 parts. Now, this is the hair of the prophet as he directed him. 1 part will be destroyed, another part will be destroyed, the 3rd part, he said, this 3rd part will go into exile, will be scattered. But as they go, he said, take away some chunks and destroy them. Some chunk, or about half of it, to be destroyed. And the remnants here, he will cut away, because he said, take away some of them and put them within your clothes and tie them there. Then the remainder will be destroyed. So the one that is hidden here will find its way, escape into lands, into nations. It will escape into nations, the 4 corners of the world, east, west, north, and south. So remnants will be destroyed. In the remnant
will be destroyed.
Listen. This part, this first part, second part, will all go. Now, the 1 part called the remnant, out of it will be cut off. Some part will be cut off. And some part of the remnant will be cut off. That means within remnant, Yahweh will visit that remnant that is going. Now, only would you call it remnant again that will emerge? Insignificant number will emerge, will escape in terror and horror. Now, if you look at what is happening here, book of Zephaniah defined it again in the same way. He talked about 1/3 that will survive. And he said he will take out 1/3 and take them through the furnace of fire to refine them. So what will emerge in these latter days? What happened to Judah and Israel will happen to them again in these latter days. They are going to be, because this tiny number that is left, if you use the remnant, it will be, because it will have been remnant in the sense that the 1/3 that he said will escape, if they had all escaped, we say, okay, remnant of the total number. But even within that remnant, he chopped it. He chopped almost half of them were destroyed. Then the ones that were left, he said, take few out of it, hide it. Then the balance of it was also destroyed as they were running away. That means the Gentile nations didn't spare them when they got there. Or even before they reached to their destinations, they were destroyed. So a little number was left. And that little number had scattered all over the world today. And that little number is so huge. Population of Israel now is almost, I don't know. But by record of the Bible, there are so much. You know, everyone knows how to multiply Israel. Knows how to multiply them. When they were in Egypt, got a point that their number so exceedingly increased that the Pharaoh in charge at that time was afraid. He called his people, let us reduce these people in number. Let us stop their power. Let us break them by enslaving them. And they enslaved them. And that is what is happening now, because they carry their course as Yahweh scattered them from here, as they were running, that they will be slaves wherever they go. That is what we've been suffering. That is what we've been suffering. Look at the whole of, because majority of them, I have been telling everybody that Israelites that we are scattered all over the world, majority are in Africa. If you look at the history of Israel, right from Abraham to the time Yeshua was born, Israel will always, no matter where they run to, they must always reside in Africa. At the end of the day, they must reside in. So when Yahweh says they left to the east, west, north, yes, they are with the whole globe, the whole world, but the majority are within Africa. And also, you find maybe other greater number in Asia, and also some number in America. But those in America, remember, they left from Africa under slave trade, under transatlantic slave trade. They were shifted to America. So the fathers and mothers were still in Africa, and the other siblings were still in Africa. So at the end of the day, majority is found in Africa. So in these later days, they are going to be punished. And that's why I pity Africa. The Europeans are working hard to make sure they achieve the objective of Yahweh. Objective of Yahweh is that Israel never listened. Israel never. When they learn from white man now of their wicked ways, they increase it, double it, standardize it, and make it look so great that even white man will be afraid of him. White man will introduce them to corruption, evil, and all manner of things. But before you know it, they will outclass them in doing bad. They don't learn to do good. So in this later day, the same thing will happen. Israel here, according to these scriptures, will be also divided into three. Majority will be swept away. Now, 1/3 that remains will be taken to the fire to be refined. And the Bible said that the number that will come out will be small. Remember, Ezekiel said that when Yahweh will move them, the rebels will be taken to the wilderness where they are going to be sifted. He will sift them, and only those who acknowledge Yahweh will pass and enter into the land. We don't know the number, but it's going to be as they left Israel. So let's move on. Verse 11. As surely as I live, says the sovereign Yahweh, I will cut you off completely. I will show you no pity at all, because you have defiled my temple with your vile images and detestable things. What is vile image? Vile image. Detestable things. What is he talking about? If you look at Ezekiel, the same Ezekiel, let's fast forward to Ezekiel chapter 8. You will see that chapter talks about idolatry in the temple. Did you see that? Your Bible reads idolatry in the temple. And that's exactly what happened. There were 4 abominations. In fact, there were different abominations, but 4 were preeminent in what they were doing. 4. So that's what he's referring to, the vile images. Because in that chapter 8, that Ezekiel begins to break them down, what they were doing, including sun god, Tammuz. Where is Tammuz coming from? From Nimrod, the son of Nimrod. They worshipped it. And we are told that these gave rise to Baal. So this is the vile images that was placed. Baal is the Lord. Today, the Lord. Now today, are you not seeing the image of the Lord in the temple, in the churches, in Catholic, in Roman Catholic, in Anglicans, and all the, so-called denominations, religions of this world, particularly within the Christianity. In other religions, you see all those images as well. But this is particularly the image that he is pointing out here. That his people, because his people are those that are carrying the covenant book, and they have made an image. So that is the image his people made is what he's clearly referring to. Though other religions have had their own images, they outclassed them. Look at how the image of the Lord, or Baal, sun god, has been magnified, so elevated, so, made to be modern. They baptized it, and it looks glamorous. It looks something that, you can't shy away. You must worship, you must bow to it. They will tell you, I love my Jesus. Mm-hmm. That kind of love attachment they have, and how they modernize it, is what Yahweh is talking about here. So the temple of this image was found even at that time in Jerusalem. A third of your people will die in the city from disease and famine. So it's now breaking it down how the number of the Judah, will be destroyed. A third will be destroyed because of famine. Then a third of them will be slaughtered by the enemy outside the city walls. The enemy that is coming to uproot and invade Jerusalem, destroy the temple. They will first and foremost attack and attack and attack. They will have fights with them outside Jerusalem. Before the wall or within the wall, they will fight, and many of the Jewish people will be cleared. 1/3 will go. Remember, 1/3 have died inside by diseases through the act of famine. Then let's go on. And I will scatter a third to the winds. Listen very well. He will scatter a third. Yahweh is explaining all the acts which we discussed last week and which we mentioned earlier here now. He's trying to tell us, give us a breakdown of what this punishment is all about. The first 1/3 is gone. The second 1/3 is gone. The first went by what? 1 by sword. That is war. 2 is to go by what? Famine. So understand what Yahweh is doing. Now, in this latter days, Yahweh has also programmed, he spoke through Jeremiah, he spoke through Isaiah, he spoke through Ezekiel, that he will visit Israel again through war, sword, famine, disease. Because this even three brings what? Disease. And let's go. A third of them will be slaughtered by the enemy outside the city walls, and I will scatter a third to the winds, chasing them with my sword. Then at last my anger will be spent, and I will be satisfied. And when my fury against them has subsided, all Israel will know that I, Yahweh, have spoken to them in my jealous anger. For I will turn you into a ruin, a mockery in the eyes of the surrounding nations, and all who pass by you will become an object of mockery and taunting and horror. You will be a warning to all the nations around you. They will see what happens when Yahweh punishes a nation in an anger and rebukes it, says Yahweh. You will, by the time, Yahweh said, by the time I finish with you, you will be a telltale to nations. People will mock you, people will taunt you, people will say, indeed, you are a rebellious nation, you are a stiff-necked people, and when they see you, they will know what you are doing and what you've done. So they are going to write history of themselves in the eyes of nations. And what their deed is going to be instruction in the latter days. Not only to themselves, to their children, and to the nations of the world. To know that when you rebel against Yahweh, you pay the price. I will shower you with the deadly arrows of famine to destroy you. He's trying to recap what he's saying there. Famine will come. The famine will become more and more severe until every crumble of food is gone. The famine will bring scarcity of food that will cause them to eat their children, and their children eat them. And along with the famine, wild animals will attack you and rob you of your children. The war that will be happening outside. That is the wild animals. Those who will come, the enemies, are wild animals. They are not going to hear anything. They are only slaughter, kill. When a lion sees a prey, what is in the head of the animal, the lion, is to devour, to destroy, to kill. So that is the kind of situation that awaits Israel. Just very unfortunate. But how many Israelites have seen it? It's coming. It's coming. Now, disease and war will stalk your land, and I will bring the sword of the enemy against you. I, Yahweh, have spoken. So, can see disease there. So, this tree will generate disease. Disease. Pestilence. You ask me, how does, 1, 2, 3. How would that occur? How would that occur? In what form will that take? Will Yahweh just blow a wind and there will be sword everywhere, or famine everywhere, or disease everywhere? Now, brethren, we mentioned it's in the same Ezekiel that talked about these people laying siege, disease, famine. Famine is going to be caused by this, their program, their agenda, climate change. It's coming. Disease, you can see what they are doing. Their laboratories is going to be working so hard that they are going to manufacture so much because they love money. They don't. They may be doing it, they don't know they're executing the anger of Yahweh against his people and against themselves, because they will all partake in it. So you will see manufacturing of diseases. People say, how will you manufacture diseases? We are talking about coronavirus. They manufactured it. Ezekiel chapter 13 mentioned about that. When they do the ones they will do, when Yahweh does not authorize, Yahweh will step in to stop it. But in these latter days, Yahweh is going to look elsewhere and allow them to do. Yahweh, if you look at Yahweh, Yahweh does not. No, Yahweh will be angry, but Yahweh will allow the wicked that live with Israel to deal with them. So when they design all that, Yahweh will look elsewhere because he's angry and he will allow it to happen. When Yahweh says he's going to deal with you, he just gives you the enemy to deal with you. Yahweh doesn't come down and deal with you. It's because of walking away from the way of Yahweh, from the love of Yahweh, from commandments of Yahweh, from the covenant he enters with his people. What he does is to walk away, because you have walked away from him. He walked away from you. Then he allowed the enemy to unleash the terror upon the head of his disobedient children. That's what happens. That's what happens. So, is the enemy within and without that Yahweh, opens the door for them to invade his people. That's what happens. Whether they're coming by sword, or they're coming by famine, or they're coming by disease or pestilences, that's what. So these are the three major something. Then we know that there'll be earthquake, there'll be, all those stuff that happen in Egypt. Most of them will come into play. But these are master destructive weapon that Yahweh has. If you look at Jeremiah, let's look at Jeremiah. Let's, go to Jeremiah chapter 14. Talked about that. Talked about drought, famine, sword. Let's read chapter 14. The word of Yahweh that came to Jeremiah concerning the death. Judah mourned, and the gates therefore languished. They are black unto the ground. Let's see verse 11 and 12. Then said Yahweh unto me, pray not for these people for their good. When they fast, I will not hear their cry. And when they offer burnt offering and an oblation, I will not accept them. But I will consume them by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence. Did you see that? This is Jeremiah. Jeremiah and Ezekiel were not together when they were writing. In fact, Jeremiah was elderly. He has started, and later Ezekiel was called. Jeremiah didn't go exile with them. Ezekiel wrote and spoke in exile. That was where his prophecy started, in Babylon. So he didn't work with Jeremiah. That means they were not. They didn't even exchange notes. So it's the spirit that spoke to both of them. That's what the point I'm trying to make. The same spirit spoke to even Isaiah. Isaiah even mentioned all these things that will happen to them. Isaiah came very, very early in the days of Israel. Very, very early. Before Israelites were some hundreds and hundreds years before even Judah was scattered. That was when Isaiah spoke to them. And if you look at chapter 15, then said Yahweh, verse 1 there, Jeremiah chapter 15, verse 1 there. Then said Yahweh unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be toward these people. Cast them out of my sight, and let them go forth. And it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth? Then thou shalt tell them, thus says Yahweh, such as are for death to death, and such as are for the sword to the sword, and such as are for the famine to the famine, and such as are for the captivity to captivity. Even captivity was even mentioned. It's part of the weapon that he's going to use against his people. So it's not just sword, famine, disease, captivity. What is captivity?
Slave.
They're going to slavery. He is going to enslave his people. Going to enslave his people in foreign land. So those that will go into slavery, and at the end of the day, they will die in that slavehold of the enemy that will take them away from their land into foreign. He said the people that speak strange language, you cut them away. That was what happened to Israelites in Africa that were cut away by Europe and America. Some are North America today, some are South America. So that was what, where did they come from? All Africa. You see that the people of Yahweh are so many, so they have so multiplied. And if you take census in Africa today, they must have outstripped the children of Ham in Africa. Children of Shem, which is Israel, the Hebrews, must have outstripped by far. Their number must have outclassed the number of the children of Africa. Because you have children of Africa, which is from Ham, and you have the children of Israel that are from Hebrew down there to, that is Eber, Shem. Shem is their great grandfather, all the way from Noah. That is the three children of Noah. Shem was one of them. That name was traced down to Eber. Eber to Israel, that is Hebrews. Eber is Hebrews, and the Hebrews are the Israelites today. Now let's enter chapter 6. Chapter 6 is judgment. Judgment. We can see the reason Yahweh began to judge his people. Let's take a look again, because he mentioned that. He mentioned that. Why this suffering? Why the punishment? Why the punishment of his people? Yahweh mentioned that. Let's look at let's move a little bit back and see chapter 5 there, verse 5. Thus says my sovereign Yahweh, this is Jerusalem. I have set it in the midst of the nations and countries that are round about her, and she has changed my judgments into wickedness. Judgment of Yahweh. Judgment has been changed into wickedness. That is one of the reasons. Judgment. To do right. People do not know how to do right again. Doing good became a tall order. So they have changed it to wickedness more than the nations. Abomination. The nations were like Lilliput before them in doing wickedness. And my statutes more than the countries that are round about her. So Yahweh's statutes, Yahweh's judgment, statutes, Yahweh's laws and commandments, we are gone before his people. So these were mainly the reasons Yahweh began to punish his people. Now, the same thing, whatever that is being said here, the same prophet is saying that there are going to be a repeat when when he's set to bring them back. He will look at them unlike how it happened in Egypt. When they cried in Egypt, he didn't ask them whether you sinned or you didn't sin. Because if there is no law, there will be no judgment against you. If there is law, then the law will say, you did this, you did this, you did this, did you do that or not? So if you have failed in what you are given to observe, to do, you didn't do them, then there will be judgment. So that is why in this letter they are going to be judged. In Egypt, they were not judged. But they were judged in the wilderness. When did he begin to judge them in the wilderness? When he gave them the law. They began to fail the law. So the law there is to point to you, to show you the way to go. The Lord will not have mercy on you. The law will say, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did, because you are committed to obey. You didn't obey. Therefore, the punishment spelled, the cost upon the that was enshrined must come upon the person. So that is what the law does. So in these latter days, people are going to be punished severely because they rebelled against their father. They're going to be judged. The same way he judged them in the wilderness. The same way he judged them when he drove them away from the land. Now, who is expecting to be judged? Ezekiel. It's only somebody who is rebellious. Who is rebellious. Talk from morning till night, the person is doing what he's doing. The person is going to see trouble. Judgment of Israel. We have asked here, why was Yahweh judging his people, punishing his people? Why? I'm not going to dwell so much in chapter 6 because it has referenced most of what we talked about in Ezekiel 5. And the chapter 7 also did the same thing. So we are going to kind of pick some of the verses and look at what Yahweh is talking about in them. Let's read from 1 to 4 there. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, Ezekiel, set thy face towards the mountains of Israel, and prophesy against them. Mountains of Israel is nation of Israel, people of Israel. Here is not going to be only Judah, but Israel, the nation of Israel. That is the entire Israel, the whole of Israel, the house of Israel. Verse 3. And say, Ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of my sovereign Yahweh. Thus says my sovereign Yahweh, to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys. Behold, I, even I, will bring a sword upon you, and I will destroy your high places. Now, chapter 6 is sounding warning of what we have discussed, bringing sword, bringing famine, bringing diseases, and all that. Here, in this chapter, Yahweh is going to be recapping them, mentioning them, repeating it to their ears. Remember, he gave them 40 years, particularly Judah. Israel, 390 years. But how many of them were paying attention? You see, it's like when a teacher is teaching, pastor is teaching, he keep on shouting every now and then. It's like repeating himself, saying the same thing on and on and on and on and on. And some people are bothered. Some people think the pastor is like a nuisance to my ears. He is continuing to repeat the same thing every now and then. Yahweh say, keep on repeating it. Keep on saying it to them, because they will not hear. Not that it's not, their ears are not, but they are not passive. It's not doing anything with their hearts. It doesn't make, they are not changing. They are not bringing themselves to change. They are not changing. They say keep on doing it, because it's a testimony that at the end of the day they were rebellious. Now verse 4. And your altar shall be desolate, and your images shall be broken, and I will cast down your slain men before your idols. Altar. Yahweh mentioned altar. Altar in the temple. Now the altar is carrying the image of the idols. Yahweh said he will kill them in front of their idols and destroy their idols, even in that temple. So both them, their idols, the temple, everything will be gone. Everything will be gone. Verse 7. And the slain shall fall in the midst of you, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Why is it that Yahweh is always saying, you will know? You will know that I am Yahweh. Yahweh is always using this phrase, that you will know that I am Yahweh. By the time I finish with you, you will know that I am Yahweh. Why was he often or constantly using this phrase? Can somebody tell me? Why will Yahweh be mentioning every now and then that you will know that I am Yahweh? Didn't they know that he is Yahweh? What happened? Because before we finish this chapter now, you see Yahweh again repeating this. By the time you enter another chapter, you see Yahweh repeating this. Why is this repeating this phrase every now and then? Can you omit and respond, please? When we read what we read in the Bible, we don't just bypass them. We grab the meaning. We try to have understanding of what the passage is talking about. If somebody asks you, be able to tell the person, even yourself to know. Because this phrase is the reason why Yahweh is unhappy with his people. It is the cause of the trouble that is befalling them. The punishment they are getting. Is why Yahweh is repeating this, because of their character. Remember we talk about they forsaking Yahweh. His glory. His glory is his name. Where is his name? The nations, the Gentiles, they know their idol. They can embrace their idol. Even when you are calling them out from it, they say, no, we go nowhere. We are where we are. But Israel will embrace their idols. Not only embracing their idols, they will even magnify their idols and make it so much desirable for everybody. They will teach them, the nations, they will teach them, that is the Gentile or the hidden world. They will teach them even how to modernize their idol and make their idol, whether you call it honorable. And everybody will be running to their idols. So, the reason why Yahweh is saying that you will know, because they have deliberately rejected Yahweh and decided not to know Yahweh again. They followed another. Therefore, Yahweh said, okay, by the time I finish with you, you know that I'm the one that called you, and I'm the one that said, if you disobey me, I will punish you. By the time I finish punishing you, you will know that my name is Yahweh. I am who I am. I am still what I am. I have not changed. I cannot change. That's the reason that phrase is being used every now and then. Watch out. Each time, even he says this to the Gentile world. Because those Gentile worlds, many, they know. They know. I don't think there's anyone who does not. Even the Egyptians knew about Yahweh, isn't it? He so punished them at the end of the day, they knew him. Other Gentile world, when Israelites were going to their land, they knew, by the time they hear the name of Yahweh, they will be jittery, they will be afraid, they will be running helter-skelter. They know that the Yahweh of Israel were coming against them because they don't serve him. They worship stone and wood and all those stuff. So there is no nation that doesn't know about Yahweh. So that's why he still makes use of, because they continue to reject him, they continue to disown him, they continue to abandon him. So he will say, at the end, you will, I am still what I am. I am what I am. Yahweh remains Yahweh. Doesn't fail, doesn't change. No matter how you want to reject him. Verse 8, chapter 6, verse 8. Yet will I leave a remnant. So here, Yahweh said, of the destructions that he will unleash, a remnant will remain. That ye may know, so that you may have some that shall escape the sword among the nations, when ye shall be scattered through the countries. That's the graphic thing I was trying to paint or explain there, how the remnant are going to, how the remnant are going to escape the sword that will be coming, and even in the Gentile world, because in the Gentile world, Gentile world will not spare them, but as it's a matter of love, Yahweh will spare. There is in every nation, particularly as he has scattered them, there is this fragrant or elements, the little minority, they call them the little flocks that are always available calling his name. Any day, anytime in this world, that remnant stop living or cease to exist, the whole world will be destroyed. The whole world will be destroyed. It's because of them angels are, helping to keep the earth going. The eyes of Yahweh is on earth. Yahshua is watching, helping his people. It's because of this remnant, minutest remnant, small group of people. There are not many. So most times people do talk of, oh, your group, they are few, they are small. Ask the person, where are you? Supposed to be part of the number. Where are you? Because they reject Yahweh. The problem is that they are running away from Yahweh. Satan told them, you yourself is God. Therefore, don't mind anybody telling you, come and worship me, this and that. What was Satan doing? Satan, a deceptor. He wanted them to get away from Yahweh so that he will grab them and, seal them to himself. And tell them you are God, don't worry. But meanwhile, they are worshiping Satan. Satan has brainwashed them indirectly. Look at that tree, you can worship that tree, that mountain. Go to mountain, worship there. Satan is coming to meet them there. Forget about those who say they go to mountain. He's going to meet them there. He knows what he's doing. What did Yahshua tell the woman at the well? The woman claimed, oh, we'll go to mountain. That is where they go. The woman was practically saying the truth. That's where they go. Israelites go to temple. That's where they say they believe they find Yahweh. But Yahshua said, time is coming, even now. That's from that time he was speaking to the woman, that henceforth anybody that will worship Yahweh in spirit and in truth, wherever you are, in your house, on your road, anywhere, any place, then Yahweh is with you. You don't need to go to temple again. Because Israel don't go to the mountain. But wherever, henceforth, what is called the church of today, do they know that? Do they understand that? They will read it, but they will do a different thing. They will tell you they want to build temple, they want to build skyscraper, as we are. Brethren, the truth is that even in these latter days, what is important is our souls. Our souls. Have we made effort to ensure that we walk with him so that he keeps us? It's not the big temple that is there that we write our name, giant name, put it there. Hello? Okay, that should be the... So they're not hearing.
It's network.
The network is poor. Hello, are you hearing now?
Yeah, we couldn't hear you at all.
All the way.
Come back again.
From what point?
We've missed a lot.
Oh, that is the network we are talking about. Okay, I was talking about punishment of Israel. Why punishment? Number one, there is judgment that is kept for them. Instead of doing the judgment, they went into wickedness. Wickedness is violation of the covenant, of the law. The law, the judgments, the statutes, the commandments were all broken, and they went after the idols of the Gentiles. That brought judgment, and Yahweh did not spare them. Because what caused problem between Yahweh and his people is disobedience. When they disobey his word or the law, then they will get the punishment. And Yahweh doesn't just punish. He will just, make sure that at the end of the day, people will learn lesson out of their rebellion. So he will look elsewhere and allow the hidden world or the enemy with Israel or that is outside to deal with his children. Punish them so much that at the end of the day, when they finish serving their punishment, they will know that disobedience is horrible. Another thing I asked when we entered Ezekiel chapter 6 was, you will know that I am Yahweh. It's a phrase that is commonly used. Yahweh often mentioned that chapters after chapter, he mentioned, you will know that I am Yahweh. And I asked, what is the interpretation? What does it mean? And I did explain that Israel rebelled, rejected, refused to follow the glory that is with them. That is Yahweh, the name of Yahweh. They intentionally left Yahweh. Yahweh sent prophets, every available messengers that Yahweh could lay hands. Yet they didn't oblige. They didn't, turn their heart to Yahweh. They didn't follow Yahweh. They followed the Gentile world, embraced the Gentile idols. And at the end of the day, Yahweh said, okay, by the time I finish dealing with you, you will know that I remain Yahweh. That my glory, which you do not know. What does that glory mean? Glory means mercy. If you had remained with me, you will receive mercy. If you had remained with me, you will receive compassion. Mercy, compassion, all the same. If you remain with me, you will see my faithfulness. Faithfulness. If you remain with me, you will see my goodness. If you go to Exodus, this is taken from Exodus. Exodus chapter 34. Somewhere, let me quickly run to Exodus so that you know where I'm mentioning. When you hear glory, that is what it's all about. Glory. It means his name. And that name was described to Moses. I will pass by you. You will see my back, but you will not see my face, or you will die. Now, Exodus chapter 33, let's look at verse 22. And it shall come to pass, while my glory passeth by, that I will put thee in a cleft of the rock, and will cover thee with my hand while I pass by. What is passing by? His glory. And how did he explain that his glory? Look at chapter 34, verse 5. And Yahweh descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of Yahweh. And Yahweh passed by before him and proclaimed, Yahweh, Yahweh, Shaddai, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth. These are what the glory means. When he was passing, he said to Moses, you will hear me mention my name. You will hear me mention my name. And this is the name that, he mentioned, the glory. It came in form of showing Moses that name bears his mercies or compassion, his faithfulness, his goodness. Now, if you hold to this glory or the name of Yahweh, these are what you are going to gain. But if you don't, then you will get trouble. The opposite of all this will come against you. And that is where salvation came in. Salvation at the end of the day. That's why he told Moses, go and tell Israel, even go and tell Pharaoh to let my people go, because he will be going with his name. In fact, Moses asked him, what name will I tell them? Oh, give to my people, your people. Tell them Yahweh. It stands for salvation. That is his glory that went with them. His name. Just mention that so that you'll understand what Yahweh is talking about when he talk about, you will know that I am Yahweh. I am what I am. And I still remain what I am. Now, when you break it a bit, moving forward, you will see that Yahweh stands for mercy, compassion, faithfulness, goodness, from which you derive your salvation. Then if you reject this is glory, this is name Yahweh, you will get punishment. And that punishment is what he mentioned in Exodus chapter 20, verse 5, when he was giving them the 10 commandments. He said, you should not do any image at all. If I'm doing image and following image is what is causing the trouble, the problem. We could see that Israel had this image at the midst of the temple, in the altar. And that brought calamity to them. So the name now, it has two faces. When he turned the other side, when he turned his back, what they will get is punishment. And what is in punishment is what he pronounced. And that is Ezekiel chapter 20 verse 5. Whereby he said, they are those who do iniquity, who do transgression. And he punishes them up to the 4th generation. Is that not what he said? Punishes them up to the 4th generation. Let's look at Exodus chapter 20. Exodus 20, verse 5. Thou shalt not bow thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahweh, Shaddai, I am a jealous Yah, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me. That is the Yah that followed them, Yahweh that followed them. If they do well, mercy, compassion, faithfulness, goodness will follow them. If they do bad, that is by rejecting him, then they face the music, the opposite side of it. So let's return. Are you still there? Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think that is taken. Let's go to verse Ezekiel chapter 6. Okay. I've mentioned some things in verses 1 to 4, where he said that they had done image. Image was the cause of the problem. Therefore, they will be slain outside their camp, or before the wall of the city. They will be slain through the sword. The enemy will destroy them. They will receive famine. They will receive pestilences, and so on and so forth. Then, talking about the remnant that will be left, and at the end of the day, as those remnants are living, some of them will be killed, and the balance will live all over the world, and they will be massacred. And we've seen that majority are living in Africa. America today, even the South America today, you hear about, majority of them came from Africa. North America, some are North America. North America, there are not so much. But South America, there are many. So, because at the end of the day, the plantations, the sugar plantation, whatever plantation, the cigarette and everything that they were planting, they were the people in charge. They were made to, the slaves were in charge of all those stuff. And building their, whatever they were building for them, their skyscraper, even in Europe here, in UK here, look at the underground, all those, what is it? All these underground tunnels. Is it rail? And whatever you see, all those giant things, they build them, all those Caribbeans, they build them. They use them. And even up till now, they are still asking for reparation. The fathers that built all those things, some of them, recently we heard about most of them complaining that they were not made citizens, even up to their children. They were denied access into becoming a citizen of the United Kingdom. They were deporting them. So that is what the slaves do. Unfortunately, that's what the slaves do. And many of them came from Africa. Verse 11, he talked about the abomination they have caused, and as a result, there will be sword, there will be famine, there will be pestilence, He mentioned that, verse 14. So will I stretch out my hand upon them and make the land desolate. Yeah, more desolate than the wilderness towards Diblath in all their habitations, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Have you heard it? Virtually in every chapter, you come across that phrase. Try to understand why Yahweh is repeating that phrase. Because of rebellion, because of disobedience of his people. Now, at the end of the day, he gave them his name. By my name you will live. By my name you will be saved. By my name you will pray. You will make your prayers and your prayers will be answered. Yahweh was telling them that his name is the key. The relationship between him and Israel, he gave it, or he imputed it in his name. That if they are obedient and call upon that name, they shall be saved. Look at him speak in Psalm chapter 91. Verse 14. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. How will you set you on high? How will he love you? How will he be with you? In time of trouble, in time of issues of life, how will he be with you? Because you've known his name. Not only knowing it, you are obedient to him. And you reverence his name. You fear his name. Fear in the sense of love. You love his name. Now verse 15 says, he shall call upon me and I will answer him. So in which name will you call? If you don't know his name, how will you call? If you call, you'll be calling another and you will not get him. He will not respond. Another will respond to you. You say, oh, but when I call out that whatever name, I get a reply and the response is marvelous. Miracle wonders comes. Somebody asked us yesterday in Birmingham, one woman from Deeper Life said, but when I pray in that name, Jesus, miracles come. Wonders happen. I say, well, the thing is that we read Bible, we don't understand what the Bible is talking about. Yahshua will always tell us, by your faith, you'll be healed. Or your faith has made you whole. Faith does miracles, so much miracles. So it depends on us to acquire that faith. And faith is spirit. Now, but there is this attachment we have in a name of Yahweh, that outclasses the faith of healing, of the miracle. That is why miracle is not part and parcel of the salvation thing. It's just to grant us breakthrough. In order, whether it's illness or poverty or hunger, so that we will overcome all those and follow the one that is calling us. So that we get miracle in anything by calling any name. You can call a tree, you get a miracle because you attach a faith to it. You can call a stone, you get miracle because you attach a faith to it. You can call moon, sun, anything, you get miracle because faith is at work. Your faith has made you whole. He didn't say he has made you whole, but your faith, the faith you have cost you to get what you get. Then, when you now move forward to him, not only will his name do wonders, that is where you get what is called salvation miracle. Salvation deliverance. Salvation, in fact, that is where in these latter days, what is called deliverance or salvation will come and help you to enter into the land because you've known his name. That name will overtake ordinary faith versus miracle you get. That is just a lower class of, because of your own attitude on what you believe you get. It's like a giver doesn't lack. That is principle of life. Yahshua was simple telling us, by that faith we, say, oh, by faith we get miracle, we get this. is principle of life. You are following just principle of life. So we must place ourselves 100% unto him. And he went on to say, verse 16 there, with long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Did you hear that? Show him my salvation. Yeah, salvation. What is salvation? Yeshua. Anywhere you see salvation in the Bible, the end of that word is Yeshua. Yeshua is the salvation. Someone said, I have waited for thy salvation. Oh, I have seen salvation. I can now go. So, are you pursuing his salvation? That's why you have to know his name. If you don't know his name, you'll be cut off. Be cut off completely. Person will be smashed, swept away. Person will not enter. That's a particular Bible portion. I'm just trying to see if I can catch it and read it for you. Talks about his name. Why we must praise his name. Why must, his name is beyond what you can think about or imagine. But all you need to do is then place your faith in that his name. That everything will be working for you. It will be working for you wonderfully 24 hours. We are still looking at chapter 6. And we have just completed it. He mentioned the phrase again, they shall know that I am Yahweh. Because they were not in the know. Or they were in the know. Because if they were to be in the know, let us face the fact. They know, but they didn't know. They know because right from the beginning, there will be Yahweh. But Satan had always intercepted them, deceived them. A child of Yahweh is easily deceived than an unbeliever. I don't know whether we know about that. Because children of Yahweh, they believe everything. Because lies don't exist in their dictionary. Lies. They don't lie. So when you are speaking to them, they feel that you are telling them the truth. They believe everything. And that's why, for you not to fall, he said, examine every spirit. But it's difficult for us to examine spirit. Very difficult. We don't at all. It's like when we are hungry and food is placed before you, you are eating before you remember you pray. When hunger stage or comes in, you forget prayer. But he said pray before you eat. That's how it is. That's how the character of believers are. They don't remember to examine. When Satan is speaking, they don't even examine to know whether it's Satan. Satan speaks through human beings. Satan does things around human beings. They don't examine. Somebody will walk to you now with sweet tongue. And they will be swearing, So you believe it the more. That is a killer. But if you have the spirit, discerning spirit, to examine, to look at as the person is speaking, if you have the discerning spirit, as the person opens his mouth, the spirit in you will tell you this person is a liar. So that's how to catch them. So we will have to work extra, put extra effort, moving closer to Yeshua, asking him to open me up more and more, to drawing yourself to that salvation, to that Yeshua, his salvation. He will give you the fruits, his fruits of the Spirit, that will continue to equip you. Some people are getting the fruits of the Spirit in little quantity, little measure. He increases it. He increases those fruits. So don't think that you see somebody who will stand and open his mouth, whatever he pronounces comes to pass. His own fruits has been so increased. It's close to him, to Yeshua. And there are people that struggle and struggle. Even when they pray, they struggle to get answer. So it's just a relationship. All he's telling us is, draw close to me, relate with me, one-on-one, that he is our Father. I am Yahweh. He hasn't changed. He's still there. What he promised is what he promised. His goodness is his goodness. His mercy, his compassion, his faithfulness, all are all there. He is what that name, consists. And that name bears salvation. So if you embrace him, you get salvation. All those goodness, will be yours. But if you don't, the opposite will come into play, which is unfortunate. Chapter 7, let's see how we can do justice to. No, I asked you last week to read up to chapter 7, even 8. I don't know whether you read it, but chapter 6, chapter 7 is still talking about the punishment, still talking about judgment of Israel, the entire Israel. I have said it somewhere there that Israel is not just Judah then, it cut across, because Israel had been dispersed long time ago. So Yahweh was looking at the Israelites in diaspora as well as Israelites in the latter days. That is the whole house of Israel. What is going to happen to them? Because as it is to Judah, that is how it is to the other 10 tribes, Israel. No difference. The same power of deception, Satan, that was working in Israel was still working in Judah. So they were outwitted and they were being messed up. But for how long will it take us to know that Satan is messing us up? How long will we know that he is causing us not to draw close to Yahweh? Come close to him. If you don't come close to him, you'll be wishy-washy. You will be weak. Satan will be stampeding the person. It takes constant and persistent drawing close, persistent interaction, relationship, persistent hearing his voice. Where do you hear his voice? From the scriptures, from the word. If somebody tell you prophet is coming from the moon to say, oh, thus says the Yahweh, then you hear. That is how you hear. Tell the person is a liar. Because in Exodus 24, in fact Exodus 19, that was what sealed the agreement. You must hear my voice. What is the voice? Keep my commandments. So when you read what he says do, you keep it, you do. You are hearing his voice and you are doing it. That's how he talk to you. Though he can talk to you in a dream, can talk to you by vision, by revelation. Yes, that happens. But it is rare. Though he could do that to his pastors, to his prophets, yes, often. But he is not a talkative. Like you see in Christendom, every now and then somebody is prophesying. He's prophesying every minute, every second. He's prophesying every day. There is no day they don't prophesy. Yahweh doesn't behave like that. Doesn't talk like that. Even to the prophets, doesn't talk to them like that. Can talk to them once in a month, once in a year. Look at the minor prophets. Some of them were only sent once. Look at Jonah. Jonah was a prophet. Jonah is called a minor prophet. That message was how he was called and what he was sent to do. That was the whole message Yahweh sent to him or talking of to him. Though often interacting with him as his son. That could happen. But Yahweh is not a talkative. That's the point I'm trying to place there. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 3. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee. How will he send his anger? All his enemies will come. All his enemies. Those who carry sword. The famine will come. How will he send famine? All these who are working, for instance, working on climate change. They say they are after you. They are working towards helping you. This and that. They are working towards downfall. And will judge thee according to thy ways. What is thy ways? If you are in obedience, he will walk with you in favor, in faithfulness, in goodness, in kindness, in mercy. in love. But if your ways is disobedience, then you will see that side of his name. Remember, his name works in two ways. One way is to favor you, to bless you. The other way is to pack the cost that the person has cost. The individual will cost the cost to come because the person is breaking the word, the law is breaking it. So that side we face the person and deal with the person decisively. And will recompense upon thee all thy abominations. Centrality of abomination is image making. Following the name of that image. Image making and following the name of that image. It is what is called abomination. Yahweh hates it. He doesn't spare anybody who goes that way. He doesn't. He doesn't. Verse 4. And my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thy abomination shall be in thy midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. By the time Yahweh punished the wicked, the disobedience, he will know. Not human being doing me this. So Yahweh has set the person on high ground to not only to devastate the person, but to kill the person. Verse 8. Now will I shortly pour out my fury upon thee, and accomplish my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thy abominations. I will continue to say the same thing. Verse 9. And my eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. I will recompense thee according to thy ways, and thy abominations that are in the midst of thee. Ye shall know that I am Yahweh that smiteth thee. Yeah, the person will know that Yahweh is the one that smiteth, or that smites him or her. Verse 15. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. You see, what we've been discussing from chapter 4, 5, up to this 6, up to 6, is what is repeating here. All this Yahweh is, from time to time, he used Ezekiel to repeat this in their ears. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. Sword outside, the enemy is coming from outside. Inside, their food will be gone, because there will be famine, there will be drought. Then, all that will bring diseases. When there is no water, disease will be everywhere. When there is no food, there will be kwashoko. There will be, the health problem will collapse. Immune system will go. So, people will not have supplies of nutrients or whatever that make them healthy. And the sickness, disease, coronavirus will attack people whose immune system is low. You just jump on them, before you know it. Or those who are obese, that is same sickness or whatever. The immune system is gone. The person will just be, shattered. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like those of the valley, all of them mourning everyone for his iniquity. The little ones that will escape, the little number, they will be in mountains, in the hills, in nations. Mountain is always, nation is always figuratively put as mountain. So there will be all the places where they are going to dwell. Even in the valleys. Doing what? Mourning for their sin. Crying. They will be feeble. Their hands will be feeble. And all knees shall be weak of water. They shall also guard themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and badness upon all their heads. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. Now, people are chasing money, chasing all manner of things, and fine, let them chase. But he's saying that one day, because of all those things you are chasing that has caused you to forget me, that he will visit them, that their gold, that their diamond, that their money, whatever it is. Even the idol they bow to, the abomination, will not be able to save them. Idols in Egypt. When Yahweh visited Pharaoh and his people, the soothsayers, the magicians, and all the powerhouse of Egypt, they all failed. The idols were struck, they were destroyed. What happened? The magicians and the lieutenants of Pharaoh told Pharaoh, that was on the third plague, lice. Moses has raised dust and threw it in the air. Everywhere became lice. Lice was in their food, in their kitchen, in the bed, in everywhere. And people were scratching themselves, running helter-skelter. And they said, those lieutenants of Pharaoh says, we can't handle this any longer. This is the finger of Yahweh. When Yahweh will stop the magicians and the powerhouse, which they are believing now, that is saying, but we get miracle, we get wonders. When we pray, our prayer answer. Time is coming. Even their gold and their diamond, they will not remember where it is. They will throw them on the street. Anybody want to pick. We want life, salvation. Where is salvation? They will not see salvation. Because they've left him long ago. And said, he will cry. He said, return back to your idol. That abomination you are bowing to. Return to them. They will help you. Those who have ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying to his people, to his assembly. Verse 20. As for the beauty of his ornaments, those who, the beauty of his knowledge, listen, he set it in majesty, but they made the images of their abominations and of their detestable things. Therein, therefore, have I set it far from them. Yahweh is coming. Yahweh beautified his people, did everything to make his people wonderful. Yahweh is wonderful. Yahweh is beautiful. Yahweh is glorious. Yahweh is handsome. Yahweh, everything we need, Yahweh will get. But his people say, no, you are not the one we are looking for. We are waiting for our own ornament, all the detestable things, all the abominable things, which is glamorous in this world, that their eyes sees. And Yahweh said, by the time he finishes with them, they will know that he is almighty. My face will I turn, I'm reading verse 22. My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place, for the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. Who are the robbers? The hunters. And the hunters are robbing them now, eating them now, in his temple, where the places that are supposed to be tabernacle, where they gather, where they congregate. The robbers arrange all those things and they tell them, don't worry, you're enjoying yourself here. Heaven is here. Enjoy yourself. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. That is what was happening in Jerusalem. That is what is happening now, as we speak. Verse 26. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest, and counsel from the ancients. Now, Yahweh will take away. Time is coming when Yahweh will take away his word, his prophets. Yahweh will take away his counsel. And the truth will be gone. Then rumor upon rumor. Remember, don't forget this. Time of rumor mongering is coming everywhere. Rumor. YouTube, you open YouTube today, what you hear is government will say they're doing this, they're doing that. Rumor, government is carrying rumor, people are carrying rumor. You don't know where the truth is because the law is taken away. The truth, the way of Yahweh. The people, they will say they see vision, they see false. Because there will be false prophets, false pastors who give them false visions, false You've written false hope. The king shall mourn, and the prince shall be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. I will do unto them after their way, after their abomination, after their wickedness, after their evil way, and according to their deserts will I judge them, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Let's rest the case here for today. We'll continue next week in chapter 8. This chapter 8 is going to unfold of all the abominations, at least 4 solid abominations Yahweh is going to mention there. And we're going to see how this abomination is going to be paid. Yahweh will literally send out his angels of destruction that will also invite human beings to add up into the destructive way that will come onto the people of disobedience, his own people. The judgment will start from the household of faith. When you reach chapter 9, you see that Yahweh will begin the trouble of the earth with his people, punishment of the earth with his people. This latter day, before Israel will be prepared to go back. Before it touches Gentiles so much, Israelites, they will first of all pursue Israelites. What do you think is Great Tribulation? Great Tribulation is about Israel. Great Tribulation. To annihilate them, to sweep them away. That is what the prophets have written. That's what the Bible is screaming about. Right from the time of Moses, right from Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, they have been screaming about this. The prophets continue to scream. David also wrote the Psalms, the Proverbs, and so on and so forth. What are we doing? What is our take in all this? Where are we? Folding our hands? Pursuing the world? Yahweh says they will throw away their gold and silver and diamond, and even the abomination they carry. They will say, if you like, whoever want to carry, I want life, I want life, I want life. Do not be part of those who will cry that cry. Begin now to seek life, pursue salvation. Because in the last minute, people that will be saying, I want salvation, I want life, they will not see it, they will not get it. Yahweh would have moved away from them. The anger of Yahweh, their name would have been removed from the book of life. It's only those who have committed abomination before Yahweh, who have disobeyed Yahweh, their names will go away. Even there was a time Moses said, Yahweh, spare your people, don't kill them. Okay, take away my name from their book, book of life, so that this will be spared. Yahweh said, no, I don't behave that way. I remove the name of those who are against me. I don't remove names of those who follow me. Those who follow me, their names are there. They will be there. That was what Yahweh replied Moses. May Yahweh bless you. May he help us to hear. May he help us to be obedient. May he help us to be committed. May he help us to seek him. May he help us to get a clean and shining eyes that is open in his word, interacting with his word, listening to his word, with ears hearing his word. May he make our hearts steadfast to follow him 24 hours. May we not look back. May we not behave like the Gentile world. We pray, Father, help us for your discerning spirit, so that when Mr. Liar will come our way, we will know. So that as we get hold to your word, to your name, we will not look back. Father, we thank you. Thank you tonight. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you for your kindness. Your name is goodness, mercy, compassion, love, faithfulness. Everything that is virtue of excellence is your name. But then when we say no to you, it will be opposite. May we not see the opposite. May we continue to see your true name, your love, Yahshua himself, with his salvation you have given us. We bless you. We give all glory. Thank you, Father, for hearing us tonight. Strengthen us, cover us, protect us. We wake up in the morning, we'll be in your arm, glorifying your name, blessing your name as you bless us. Thank you, everlasting Father. In Yeshua's name we have prayed. Hallelujah.